Your very first interaction with a prospect is the absolute most important part of the sales process. That's your first engagement. It's your first interpretation of how each other is and each other's character, each other's buy signs, just their overall being, right? Like, can you mingle? Can you get along in enough time to complete this actual sale and make a transaction? And what I like to refer to it as is like, it's very similar to like your first date. If you can remember back when, if you're with somebody now, or just any general first date experience that you've had. Now, I'm not talking about kind of it's like a blind date, because you're not knowing who you're going to come up with, right? You're not going to know if the fucker has a weird twitch and shit, or some sort of fetish with like feet and taint. And so there's all these curveballs that could be thrown at you during the engagement, but overall, you have an idea of how the night should plan out, or in this case, how the actual sales call and process should pan out. So we go into like a first date, right? We go into a first date having everything mapped out. You know where you're gonna go eat, you know where you're gonna go, what movie you're gonna see, what destination you're gonna be at if you're gonna go see a movie, you know where you're gonna go drink, you know who's gonna be there, you know kind of an idea of what the mood will be. So you're going in there with kind of a handicap. And the same thing goes with like a sales conversation, where you have a pretty good idea as far as like the process of that conversation, the questions that you need to attain. So you have a kind of a template or an idea, but again, you don't know what curveballs are going to be thrown your way. So my question to you is, do you want to improve the quality of your engagement? Would you like to go on a first date and fucking just win? Just like assure your second date, if you so choose, right? And assure that that person is going to like you. And I'm going to reference a first date throughout this video because they're very, very, very similar, at least psychologically. Because when you go on a first date, one of the main concerns that you encounter or that you experience is like, man, is this person even going to be cool, right? Like, are they going to be the right one? Are they going to be worth my time? Is this going to be like a shitty date? Is this going to be a shitty experience? And you kind of got a backup plan, right? Like, you got a backup plan. Like, maybe you text a homie and say, hey man, give me a call here if I don't text you that it's all right, and just act like I got to go somewhere, like there's an emergency. Kind of like that movie Breakup, where a dude was all, we in the biz, we like to call this playtime, and then she gets a call from her sister and she acts like it's an emergency, and that's just all planned. So they got their planned escape routes, and so do our prospects. Our prospects are coming in already with a plan. Like, if I don't get what I want, then I'm just going to hang up. So it's a little bit different, unless you're speaking with them in person and you can see them physically. It's a little bit different because they can't necessarily hang up or just walk away without it being awkward. You actually have to, detach in a different manner than you would over the phone. So my background mainly is through phone sales. So I do a lot of selling, negotiating, prospecting. Everything is all done over the phone. I never meet my clients. The closest thing I get to meet my clients, or they get to see me, is the signature picture on my emails, right? Other than that, unless they're following me on Sales Remastered, and then they get an idea of how all the magic happens. But more than likely they're not, however you are. And so for your attention, I'm going to share with you, how to make your first engagement very powerful, very meaningful, because the intent in going in a first sales conversation is very similar to how you would go in the mindset you have going in to a first date. Like, I want to be on my game. I want to be liked. I hope this person likes me. I hope I don't stink, literally, right? Like, I hope I don't say the wrong things. And so there's all these things going through your mind, and it's very similar to you engaging in the first call. It's very awkward, right? Because you guys are strangers. You don't want to talk over each other. You want to, just be on your game. It's almost like a job interview. But similar to like a first date or job interview, the psychology of it is the lesser you try, the more you'll actually attract. And it's because the thoughts within your head, when you're going in, like, you're sweating whether or not you're going to be liked. And so you do extra, you know what I mean? Like, you're the one doing extra. You're going all out to give information on a particular product and guiding them, and your tone is all honky-dory, it's cheery and shit. But there's an aura about that where if it's not naturally you, then it's not going to sound like you. It's going to sound fake. And I think just like a first date, our prospects are hip to game. They understand how the process goes because there are our competitors who are, they're not as savvy as us, right? They don't have the resources like we do. And they don't have At Sales Remastered on their feed like you do. But you'll notice, and I'm sure you probably experienced this too, where you walked into an atmosphere, maybe a salesman came up to you and it's like that fakeness, right? It's that fake tone. And that's something that I experienced, back in the day before I was married, when I would go on first dates or when I would see a girl I liked. I guess my method here was just to really act like I didn't even notice them, right? Like I attracted them through giving the impression that I didn't even know they're in the room, right? But I always, with my periffs though, you would always engage and see if they're looking at you, if they're giving peeks at you, right? And so you're on your game mentally, but you're being covert about it. And so the same thing goes with your sales conversation, is you don't want to try too hard. You want to be as personable as possible. You don't want to, come off with that fake sales tone pitch that's very, very popular. Hey, great idea. Like you don't want to do that, but at the same time, you don't want to sound dull. You don't want to sound like you're bored or you're a robot or there's just no energy in your tone. There's got to be some sort of enthusiasm. And the enthusiasm, because you're on the phone, is going to come through your voice inflection, through the tonality that you use. And similar to like a first date, you don't want to be too hyped and then she's on one particular level or he's on one particular level, but whatever your flavor is. And at the same time, you don't want to sound too dull, like you're bored, So what you do subconsciously is you actually mirror their tone, you mirror their energy. And because you're selling over the phone, and if your first engagement is by phone, that's literally the only thing that you really got, because they can't see your body language, and they can't see you in person. So you have to express your emotion through the tonality of your voice. And so what I've done is I put together 3 video series or 3 videos together to create a mini series of the first intake call. I call it the first I call it the inbound. I forgot the fucking name. I just made it, don't get mad. But it's called the inbound. And so it's inbound part 1, part 2, part 3. And to check this out, you have to actually go to the blog. I'm gonna post the blog feed to Facebook. So if you haven't liked the Facebook page, check it out now. I'm sure there's a link below this video, or you can go to facebook.com/sales remastered, or open up your Facebook app, go into the search bar and search sales remastered. Like the page, you're gonna get input and content on that page that is not available on other streams. It's not available on Instagram. It's not available on YouTube. And so there's just these nuggets of gold throughout different channels on social media that if you're really about that hustle, if you're really about improving your game, if you're serious about, finding a way to create a process where your sales is just automated, right? It's such a clean, fluent process that all you do is just participate, right? And then that's where you want to be at, because it enables you to literally control your production. Like, you want more production, all you got to do is use the system more, right? Put in a couple extra hours, or maybe target a hot block time on your schedule, like from 5:30 to 7:30, for example, for nothing but inbound calls or follow-ups and callbacks. And the reason for that is because wherever you are, whatever time zone you're in, you're hitting people who are at home already, and you're not under the urgency of fitting everything you need to fit, or the message that you have within a 5-minute break, right? Like they're on a smoke break, or you're talking to them while they're eating their food, and you're talking to them at an inconvenient time. And if you ever catch yourself trying to sell or pitch or go over some real serious info while they're not necessarily focusing on you, and you could tell because you can hear their background, their responses to your questions or your statements will let you know if they're paying attention to you. And so these are subtle clues where you got to make a decision. Like, are you going to adapt your calendar to their availability and make sure that all the work you put in on putting that proposal together is actually going to be absorbed? Because the attention of your prospect that you're spitting that to, or that you're saying it to, they're distracted. They're distracted by all kind of things besides life. They're distracted by music, the kids in the back seat, the lunch that they're ordering, the food that they're eating, the people in their surroundings. And you need the focus to be on your tonality. You need the focus to be on you. It'd be like on that first date, if you're talking to this person, all they're doing is paying attention to the background. Like, you're there, you're talking to them, but it's not as effective as if it were just both you and that date looking at each other, or in a room and kind of blocking out all the other external noise, right? You're going to be able to communicate more effectively with that person. And if you can effectively communicate with them and relate or connect or bond with that person on a particular emotion, which this video series tells you how to extract, it tells you what to expect. Mortgage loan officers, if you're fairly new, or if you need any assistance on how to properly set up your pitch or your presentation, this first inbound call is where it all happens. This is where all the sales happens. This is where the bond happens. This is where the anticipation, excitement, and desire is born, right? To the point where they need to hear more. They must answer the phone if you call back again. They need to bring you the documents you need in order to submit that loan, because they won't get that result that they are anticipating. And you're doing it right, you're connecting with them right, and you're explaining it at a point where your other competitors simply are not. And that's how you gain the loyalty. That's how you can confidently sell that prospect, submit them in the process, hand the baton off to operations, and let that bitch go. The next time you'll hear about that loan is when you're set up for signing. Granted, it was a clean file, you did your work and your diligence up front, but nonetheless, if you do it right, and again, this is all about mastering your process. If you do it right, all you're doing is just overseeing the process. You're just making sure that the files stay on the conveyor belt as it goes through the different phases or different departments. And that's where you want to get. You want to get to a point where it's automated, so it's not so much of a grind. You're not sitting there running in circles. You're not chasing Mr. Patel to explain that the sky is blue. You're not on that emotional roller coaster, because your income is like a roller coaster. It's just up and down, up and down. And I got the answer for you. So if you're a mortgage loan officer, if you do any type of telesales, if you do any type of interaction over the phone, then this video series is for you. So check it out. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you get alerted of future content, future video series, and be on the lookout. There's so much coming for you guys in 2018, and it's all because I appreciate your attention. I appreciate your confidence in the system that I'm putting in place and sharing with you guys. It's helped me make a ton of money. It's helped my team make a ton of money. And all I wanted to do for you is help you unlock your full potential so I could see you at the top with the rest of us. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.